This video is brought to you by our beautiful sponsor, BeautifulHalo.com. Pick out whatever your heart desires. Hoodies, shirts, pants, and even jackets. They have it all. We all would like to wear some nice clothing, right? Well, Beautiful Halo is the perfect place for that. They have apparel in the styles of many well-favorited animes such as JoJo, Dragon Ball, Black Clover, One Punch Man, and My Hero Academia. They have with many more items to choose from. If you're like the 1% who personally hates anime or just aren't into it despite being on this channel, then they've got you covered too, with a bunch of stuff for cartoons, movies, shows, and comics, along with popular names like Star Wars, SpongeBob, Marvel, DC, and Rick and Morty. They have hundreds of different items of clothing to fit your style so that you can feel like you in public, or just around the house. What are you waiting for? Go check out BeautifulHalo.com and use code MEME for 10% off your next purchase. Remember, MEME. I repeat, use code MEME for 10% off your next purchase. Again, a huge thanks to Beautiful Halo for being our sponsor.
Hey, what's up, mortals? It's Robert Ramirez, aka Rarzrevenge here. And before we get into the video, there's a few things I'd like to say. Firstly, thank you Beautiful Halo for sponsoring the video. Secondly, a quick thank you to our supporters on Patreon. Now with all of that out of the way, let's get into the video. Today's What If is going to be what if the League of Villains was taken over by Stain. Our scenario starts before the Hosho incident with Stain, as Shigaraki and All For One fail to get through to Stain at the secret hideout. A black sludge covers Stain and overtakes him. As Stain tries to fight back, he gets teleported to where All For One is sitting. All For One?
Stain, this would be a beneficial agreement for us to work together for the moment. We both want Hero Society to crumble, right? To rid the world of these false heroes. You would continue to follow your path, and I guarantee All Might will come soon if you stick with us.
Stain, what's gonna stop me from killing you and your friends right now? I don't need your help with the calling of the fakes. All For One?
Well, Stain, my friend, I could end you whenever I want. You are at my mercy just walking out of here. I'd welcome you to try, though, but I'll tell you right now, if you decide to, your crusade ends here.
Stain feels the presence similar to the one Bakugo's rescue crew felt during All For One's review, but due to his own convictions. He wasn't paralyzed, but everything in Stain's body was telling him to not engage the man. Stain, fine, but stay out of my way. All For One?
Great choice.
All For One waves his hand, and the sludge covers Stain again.
We will bring you back to us when everything is ready.
Stain gets teleported back to the outskirts of Hosho City, on top of a rooftop. Stain thinks to himself that he will let All For One be for now. The few true heroes in the society should be the ones to defeat the man, and hopefully a bunch of those fakes are taken care of at the same time. The rest of the arc goes according to the normal timeline. Shigaraki still releases the Nemu out onto Hosho City while Stain is eventually defeated by the trio of Midoriya, Idai, and Todoroki and gives a speech. Stain, if I don't fix it, if heroes aren't restored, come, just try me, you fake. The only one allowed to kill me is All Might, a true hero. As Stain steps forward, he stops. He passes out from all the internal damage inflicted upon him. As the hero starts to stand up and go over to approach him, a portal opens behind Stain. Kurogori was sent to watch the entire event, with Stain just in case anything bad happens to All For One's investment. The two Nemos who accompanied the villain walked out of the portal and sprinted towards the group of heroes. Everybody get ready! Looks like we're going to have another fight on our hands. The group prepare for the double Nemu assault and get into fighting positions. Todoroki starts to walk to the front of the group, and frost is appearing around his body.
Everyone, step back, I got this.
With Shoto's quick thinking, he uses ice to freeze the Nemu to the ground, which lets Endeavor use his blue flames to destroy them.
Now that that's dealt with, let's capture Stain and hurry get him to the Tortoise.
Endeavor, we got a big problem. He got away from us. Unluckily for the heroes, they could not defeat the Nemu in time to catch Stain, who was teleported by Kurogori. What could have been a monumental achievement for the heroes in training turned into a disappointment and a failure for the heroes' part. Back at the villain's hideout, Stain is taken to the doctor who takes care of All for One.
Well, he's got a couple broke bones, some pierced organs, and surprisingly a cut-off nose. It seems amateurish, but clean, so he probably did it himself a long time ago. I can either let him heal at accelerated rate, or I can fix him up in a couple of hours completely.
You can take your time with him. I don't want him leaving again and being captured next time.
Over the next couple of days, the Stain event is spread all through the media. The coverage is still shifting away from the League's attack, but a few newspapers and websites are starting to focus on the combined efforts of both groups. While this is more beneficial to the League in this version, Shigaraki is still annoyed about the popularity of Stain.
Kagori, you can stop bringing these papers. All these people talk is about Stain, Stain, Stain. We sent multiple Nemu to destroy parts of the city while he almost got captured, and still, all the glory.
Shigaraki, I believe all of this press is still benefiting our League of Villains. Brokers and villains alike have been trying to contact us about joining the same thing Stain is a part of. With his following under your direction, you can fulfill your goals to cripple this society.
Stain hears two conversations in the room next to the bar. He's still healing from Hosho and only has been in and out of consciousness. He didn't know that there was others out there like-minded like him. If they did join the League, Stain thinks he could defeat Shigaraki and take over for himself. With multiple people working together to cleanse the Hero Society, the arrival of true heroes will be upon the world much sooner. Weeks go by after the following days of the Hosho City incident. Multiple young villains have joined the League under Stain's ideals. Being a closed-off person, Stain has refused to interact with the group, usually going off on his own, staying in a single room. With his popularity starting to die down, Stain believes it's time to put the first stage of his plan in motion. Step 1 is to weed out the true believers of the newest members of the League. Stain researched the villains who arrived. After a couple days, the hero killer lays out all the members and starts to make his decision. The first member, the Cardinal Murderer. Muscular. The large man was just a sadistic, hulking idiot. He had an insanely powerful quirk, comparable to that of All Might, but his impulses were a clear no to Stain. The closest thing he had believed was the feeling that people should be able to do whatever they promise, which is a clear failure of a society. The second member, Death Row Inmate, Moonfish. This was just an insane individual. There was barely a difference between the Nemu and himself. There was no possible chance of him being intelligent enough to distinguish between the heroes and his obsessive affliction with flesh. The third member, Mustard. Mustard was an intriguing case to Stain. The villain was just a high school student, but he had already set himself on the unjust path. He was intelligent enough for his age, but his feelings would sometimes get in the way of his calculated and pragmatic mind. While his ideology in anything was lacking that made it possible to follow Stain's motives, but according to Stain, he still didn't like to work with people, much less kids. The fourth member of the League was Big Sis Magni. She was much like Muscular when it came to her motives. She joined the League of Villains to follow the idea of being free to do whatever she wanted, and seemed to already be very loyal to Shigaraki because of this ability to have that freedom. Member was Twice. Twice was probably the most annoying member he had to review for the help with the cleansing of heroes. His insanity, first of all, made it unbearable for him to be near Stain, but his quirk is what saved him from being forgotten. His only want from the League is to be accepted for being himself, which is possible of the group because of what Garen the stockbroker said in the conversation Stain overheard during the recruitment of the new villains. Garen?
This guy Twice, right? He has the potential to take down an entire country by himself. All you need to do is get him over his mental unsureness, but there's no way you can do it forcefully.
Over that time, Stain had deducted that Twice was able to clone himself probably infinite amount. With that much power, Stain would not be able to leave it alone, but would only use his quirk as a perk. The sixth member was the Showman. Mr. Compress. Once again, this was another villain without true motives. The only thing that he was loyal to was his comrades in the League. Even with being a new member, he took up a responsibility role as a pseudo-mentor. Finally, the last two new members added to the League of Villains were exactly what Stain was looking for. The two villains came to join because they truly believed in his ideology of false heroes being wiped out from this world. The eighth member, going by Blue Flame, the young man known as Dabai, he came to the League looking for Stain, trying to follow him, but Shigaraki tried to convince him to forget about his beliefs. Dabai, however, showed his promise to Stain by trying to take Shigaraki. The last member would be the most important to Stain, the apparent fanboy, Spinner. The 20-year-old was obviously obsessed with Stain. He dressed like him, took his weapon style after him, and pretty much anything that was public knowledge. This would be extremely over the top for most people, but Stain believed this would be the biggest asset. Spinner would easily follow him blindly, which would make him his right-hand man. Stain had decided his next plan: train Spinner as an ally successor, then have him convince Dabai on their own. After that was done, Stain would wait in the shadows, leaving the two to follow Shigaraki, but when the time came, he would be killed, and Stain could take his place. With the remaining manpower, Stain could continue to eliminate all the false heroes on a grander scale than ever before. As time passed, the League of Villains were informed about the UA students were going to be in the forest alone, away from the public, with the only acting heroes would be their teachers and the wild pussycats. The goal was set for the Vanguard Action Squad, attack the students and heroes, and capture Ragdoll and Bakugo. While that was the goal for the main group, the duo of Spinner and Dabai had their own particular mission, with the victim being made up of the remaining members of the Wild Pussycats, and the hero's 1B teacher, Vlad King. While Stain tried not to go after kids, they both believed that they were too far gone, being raised and molded in the society, so the rest would just be casualties except Izuka Midoriya, the one deemed a true hero by Stain. And the next part of events of the forest attack would be revealed. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now there's a few things I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited time. If you're interested, go to the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, I'd like to thank our $5 plus Patreon supporters for helping to fund these videos. Lastly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writers for the video, as well as the editors for the video. Those will be in the description. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the Discord that is in the description of this video and hit up the heads of one of those areas. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you liked the video. Until next time, peace out mortals, have an amazing day!
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop.